Like and subscribe on the way in the door, my people. I just want to take a moment to sincerely thank every single last one of you who support this channel, who comment, who like, who shared the video in other spaces. A couple of you have let me know that my videos have not been well received in some LeBron fan pages on Facebook. And that's great to me. But yeah, sincerely, thank y'all. So today I want to talk about, have a seat, fanboys, have a seat for this one. I want to talk about why losing in the finals could potentially be worse than not making the finals at all. And here's why. To me, well, especially if you don't make the playoffs at all. If you don't make the playoffs at all, it is probable that you actually do not have the right pieces to compete. Could be players, could be coaches, could be a combination of both. It could be you're a new team and still trying to figure out the chemistry. If you don't make the playoffs at all, to me, there's probably a logical explanation for that. But if you make it to the finals, then, at that point, you must say that you were good enough to get there, but not good enough to finish. It's really that simple. Let's talk about the Buffalo Bills. I don't know how many of you are football fans out there, but if you are football fans, you probably know that the Buffalo Bills went to 4 straight Super Bowls, and they didn't win one. Let me say that again, fanboys. The Buffalo Bills went to 4 straight Super Bowls and did not win one. So, if you're a football fan, and I'm not as big a football fan as I am a basketball fan. That's for sure. But I definitely had my favorite teams and used to keep up. And actually, at one point, I was a Buffalo Bills fan. Now, as a former Buffalo Bills fan, when I look back to the Buffalo Bills, when I think about those teams that went to the Super Bowl 4 straight times without winning it once, what comes to my mind is failure. I mean, I don't think about the Buffalo Bills in this light like, oh, wow, they made it to 4 straight Super Bowls. This is one of the greatest teams ever. No, when I think about that, I think about, man, this team is a failure. Like, you got there 4 times and you couldn't pull off one championship. Like, to me, there's something, automatically I feel like there's something with the mental endurance of this team. That they were able to get there 4 straight times, but couldn't close the deal. Like, to me, it's a mental disconnect once they get to the Super Bowl. So, yeah, to me, when you have shown that you are good enough to get all the way to the end, but you cannot close the deal, to me, you can't just say, oh, well, they just faced 4 better teams. They just faced 4 better teams. What can you say? No. Like, you failed 4 times. And I'm sure you see where this conversation is headed. If you've been to the finals 10 times and you have lost 6 of them, you have 4 championships, right? You might as well have only went 4 times and won all 4. Matter of fact, that would be better. Because once you get to the finals, You have to assume, well, you don't have to assume, but it is a fact that you were good enough to get to the finals. But 6 times you came up short. Fanboys, your move. 6 times you couldn't close the deal. And so, yeah, so it's like when people try to give LeBron James this extra credit somehow that he made it to 10 finals, to me, I see that as more of a failure. Because you were good enough to get there 10 times, but you could only get 4 out the deal. To me, that shows mental weakness. Like 6 times, you couldn't focus in enough. You couldn't play hard enough. You couldn't impose your will on the game to walk away with at least a winning record in the finals. At the very least, be 50%. My goodness. I mean, out of 10, you couldn't even win 5? And I hate to say this, but here we go, fanboys. I'm going to go ahead and say this. We really have to think. And I think I'm going to do a video on this. But we really have to think, would LeBron James have had that 2020 ring if not for the pandemic? If that hadn't happened, where the Lakers got to rest, they got to play in an empty arena, which is different than playing in an arena full of people. And, you know, in an empty arena, you do not have the same kind of pressure as you do in an arena full of people. In the empty arena, it's just you and the other players and the refs. In an arena full of people, you got to deal with the fans yelling stuff at you, you know, breaking your concentration. And, yeah. So we have to question if in 2020, if the pandemic doesn't happen, does LeBron only have 3 championships instead of 3.5? So, yeah. And, you know, to me, like the Warriors, you know, that Warriors 73-10 team. To me, that was a classic case of not being able to close the deal. Now, obviously, you know, there was some injuries and Draymond getting suspended and whatnot. But here's my question, talking to my people right now. Fanboys, you can stay out of this one. If that was Jordan on that team instead of Steph Curry, you think LeBron's able to come back from 3-1 on Michael Jordan? Even with those other players getting injured. It was Andrew Bogut and can't think of the other player's name, and Draymond getting suspended. Does Jordan allow a 3-1 comeback, even under those circumstances? And this is precisely what I'm talking about. You know, it's that ability to impose your will on the game. And to me, like I said, making it to the finals and losing, especially if it's a habit, if you have a habit of it. And we can say that LeBron has a habit of getting to the finals and losing. You know, some other teams, if you only been once or twice and didn't make it, okay. But if you've been to the finals a few times and keep coming up short, there is something wrong with your team. There's something wrong with your superstars. And to me, it's a great argument to be made that making it to the finals and losing, especially over and over again, can be looked at as a greater failure. Again, going back to the Buffalo Bills. If you're football fans, how do you view the Buffalo Bills? How do you view that era of Buffalo Bills? Do you think back to like, oh man, they were able to go to 4 straight Super Bowls. That's incredible. Or you're like, man, they went to 4 straight Super Bowls and couldn't win one? Some losers. I mean, pretty much. But anyway, That's all I got. Like I said, I just feel like, if you have a habit of getting to the big game and losing, to me, there's something wrong, and that could easily be viewed as worse than not making it at all. But anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you agree that making it to the finals several times and not winning can actually be worse than not making it at all? Can make you look worse in the history books than not making it at all? And let me add this one last thing. And another reason it can make you look worse in the course of history, because people always pump up the winners and diminish the losers. Again, think about Michael Jordan's teams. Like, now everybody want to talk about Steve Kerr and Horace Grant and Luke Longley like they were some superstars, right? But that's because they were part of a dominant franchise. If that wasn't the case, they wouldn't get mentioned in that light. And by the same token, people try to act like Gary Payton and Sean Kemp and Hersey Hawkins and people like that try to diminish how great of players they actually were because of losing. But anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments. You all have a fantastic day, and I will see you next time. All right.